on the intro. Hold on, I got an intro here. Why isn't it playing? Playing. So anyway, we'll go back to this. All right, hey guys, welcome everybody. I'm Doc G, HamiltonRadio.net. As today a special guest on the Celebrity Spotlight Show with Jimmy Diele. We have Misty Rowe. Welcome, Jimmy and Misty.
Welcome to Celebrity Spotlight, actress Misty Rowe. How you doing? How are you?
Well, trying to stay warm. Is it snowing where you are?
No, actually, it's not. It was snowing, but it's not snowing anymore. But they're expecting a little bit of ice tonight.
Well, it's kind of rained here for 3 days where I am. I'm down south. I'm in South Carolina.
Ooh, nice weather.
Okay. Yes. Wow. Well, congratulations on 50 years of music and laughter.
Well, I've had a long career, and I'm thankful for all of it and all the great people I got to work with. And now I'm at that stage in my life where you write a book. And,
Yeah, absolutely.
and since there was a pandemic, that was probably the best thing I could do.
Absolutely. And it's a fantastic book. I have it right here. It's called Misty Memories, Misty Rowe, your autobiography. What a great book. I'm holding it up in my hand right now on camera. And now you wanted to be an actress from an early age, right? You started acting at a very early age?
I love the book. The publisher put in 225 pictures of the stars I work with and the things I had done. And so the book is like my whole life you're holding in your hands.
It is, and it's a great book. It's a great book. I love it.
Yeah, I write a lot about Atlantic City in it too. And of course, when I first played Marilyn Monroe so long ago, and I got to meet Elton John and model the 7-year itch dress, and then work with Mel Brooks and work with the Happy Days crowd and be on Hee Haw for 19 years. So I've been very blessed and very busy. But since the pandemic, everything kind of stopped.
Yeah.
Yeah. You started acting, though, at a very early age, didn't you?
Yes. My first professional job, I was 15 years old. And I danced behind Sonny and Cher at the Teenage Fair in Hollywood. So I was a professional dancer. And then I did some commercials and beauty contests. And then I did a B movie, the kind that people go to drive-ins to see, called The Hitchhikers.
Yeah, I got it up now. Yeah.
And I was very young when I did it, and I got the lead. And it was just crazy how we shot that thing and all the places we did it. But I got a good review with it, and that got me an audition for Hee Haw. And
so awesome.
Since I did Hee Haw, I've never stopped working.
Wow. Amazing. What about Palladium? You were a dancer there when you were younger, right?
Yes, that was the Teenage Fair at the Hollywood Palladium. I was 15 years old, and I had to audition. About 2,000 girls auditioned to be dancers that week, and they hired 20 of us. So I was very lucky and very young. And when I worked at the Teenage Fair as a dancer, I danced there was Sonny and Cher, the Bee Gees, and the Young Rascals.
Awesome. Very, very awesome. That's great. Now, I know, speaking that it's Valentine's Day weekend, you were out on a date with a guy. And that date didn't go so well, right? Tell us about that date that didn't go well.
Well, my first car date, that's when your parents let you go on a date in a car.
Exactly.
He took me out, and I had my first pair of heels on. I was like 15 and a half, and he stopped to get gas, and as he got out of the car, he said, "You're cute, but you're not as pretty as my last girlfriend."
Wow.
And then he got out to pump the gas, and I was just devastated. But he left the radio on. And this announcer came on and said, "You too can be a go-go dancer for the world-famous Hollywood Palladium at the Teenage Fair." And you had to send your picture into a radio station. It was then called KBLA, and it was sponsored by Teen Beat magazine. So I went home, and I sent my picture, my 8th grade graduation picture, to KBLA in care of Teen Beat magazine. And
Nice.
They called, and I got an audition as a dancer. And that really picked up my spirits.
I'm sure it did.
But that was the beginning of my professional career. And it all started when some guy told me I wasn't as pretty as his last girlfriend.
Well, that guy got to see you dance at the Palladium. He must have been kicking himself, right? When he did see you dancing, you sort of ignored him.
But he couldn't get too close to me because I was in a tower 50 feet up in the
air. Oh, that's so awesome. Well, he definitely made a mistake, right?
Well, it just goes to show you just doesn't matter what other people say. You just got to keep going, keep trying.
Exactly. Now, what about your acting teacher? Her name was Mrs. Reiner, and her husband's cousin was the legendary Carl Reiner, right? Tell us about that.
Well, when I went to high school, I had a terrible lisp, and I was very, very shy. And I got into drama. They thought it would draw me out, and then I wouldn't be less shy. And my teacher's name was Harriet Reiner, and she really liked me, and she guided me, and she was my drama coach for 3 years. And when I graduated, she arranged for me to get a scholarship to the Actors Workshop in Hollywood. And she had called Carl Reiner to ask where a young person could go to get training to become a television actress.
Okay.
And there's only one person I would recommend. It's Estelle Harmon, the Actors Workshop. And back in the day, Estelle Harmon had worked for Universal, and she had coached people like Rock Hudson. She was just a great acting coach. And then she formed her own Actors Workshop, and that's where I landed. And it was a good thing, too, because it just didn't teach you about acting on stage. It taught you about film. Every week, they would videotape you, and then you'd have to watch it back, and she would critique you. And I have to tell you, the first time I saw myself on film and heard, I had this high little voice like this, I wanted to crawl under the chair. It was so embarrassing to see myself the first time on film. Of course, everybody sees himself now because there's Zoom, and you know, you can have a phone chat where you can see the person. But back then, oh my gosh, we're talking the late 60s, like 1969, when I first went on camera.
Right. Wow.
Yeah, wow.
What do you got for Misty, Doc G?
Oh, okay. Hee-haw. Some of the guests that you were with like Johnny Cash, and of course some of the regular guests that were on the show in your samples. What was it like working with all them different people? I mean, it was like such a great amount of people.
Well, when I started, I was the youngest one on the show, and I was on it for 19 years, and I became junior sample sidekick. I was the BR509 girl, where he had the car lot and he sold cars, and I was the mechanic who fixed them, and I had a big wrench, and I couldn't fix cars all that well, but nobody seemed to care because my shorts were so short. So he'd always say the tagline was, the number to call is BR549.
Ah.
That's cute.
Wow.
But you met Johnny Cash and some other people. Glenn Campbell was on the show.
Oh, yeah. I worked with Johnny a lot. I mean, he came to Hee Haw every single year I was on. And his wife, June Carter Cash, she was a hoot. I really liked her. And we used to talk, you know, in between songs and things. And Johnny Cash had his own TV special. And I think they called it a Johnny Cash Salute to Country Girls. And they wanted someone to do jokes with June Carter and Minnie Pearl. And I got that job. So I'm on that TV special. So I felt very blessed to do that. But I worked with Johnny a lot.
Very, very cool.
That's great. Awesome. That's so awesome. You also, before you did Hee Haw, you did a job for a famous radio disc jockey, Art LeBeau. He had a radio show called The Oldies But Goodies.
LeBeau. I was Miss Oldies But Goodies. I remember it. I was so young, and it was before Hee Haw, and I didn't even have a car. So my mom had to drive me. He had a big convention for all the radio stations, and there was this big dinner in Hollywood, and they had a cake come out, this big 3-tier cake. And my job was to jump out of the cake in a blue bikini with a ribbon that said Oldies. Then I turned around, and the back there was a ribbon that said Butt, and then you turned around and there was another ribbon that said Goodies. But I'll let you guess where that was.
Wow.
And I was paid $50 to do this, and they gave me a steak too. So my mom thought that was great. That I only had to work 5 minutes, and I was paid $50 and got 2 steak dinners.
That is. So
I want to
cool.
ask you.
So
I want to
cool.
ask you about this. You're in a soaking wet bikini, and you get to meet Bing Crosby. Tell me about Bing Crosby.
That was probably one of the first times I was ever on TV. Artie Johnson, you remember him from Laugh-In?
Yes.
He was the very interesting guy.
Yeah.
He had a TV special called Very Interesting, and he wanted to do a skit where he was like a Groucho walking across the room, and they had, my part was called The Girl in the Gucci Striped Bikini. And I would walk across the room, and I would go, "There's the men following me." And he'd say, "Oh, I can see why." And that was my whole bit. Well, they put me in a bikini, a Gucci striped bikini, and they didn't have spray tans then. They put body makeup on you with a big wet sponge and pancake makeup, and they smeared it all over my body. And then I was just dripping. So they told me to go out and wait in the hallway because they had to do someone else's makeup. So I did that, and I was standing in the hallway, and it was really cold, and this old man with a pipe came by, and he said, "Young woman, aren't you cold?" And I said, "Yes, I am." And he took off his jacket and gave it to me, put it over my shoulders, and then he walked on. And the director walked out, and he said, "Where'd you get that jacket?" And I said, "From that old man, that nice old man with the pipe." And he said, "That nice old man is going to sing later on the show. And by the way, his name is Bing Crosby."
Wow. How cool is that? Really?
What a generally sweet guy, huh?
Very sweet. And I tell a lot of stories like that in the book, Misty Memories.
Uh-huh.
Now, do you have the book's website?
No, we do not. We just have the book.
Okay, the book has you can buy it on Amazon.com, Amazon Books, Misty Memories. And you can leave a review there if you like. Or you can go to the book's website, which is MISTYROWE.com. And if you go there, it tells you all about the book. It has the reviews, and you can order it autographed, or you can order just the book, or, and this is very popular lately, you can get a Zoom signing. And for that, I sign the book in front of you on Zoom. And you can talk to me, and I can talk to you for 5 minutes. And it's been great because all the people who watched me on TV, I never got to meet them. So now if they buy the book and they get the Zoom signing at MISTYROWE.com, we can meet each other face to face.
Yeah, beat
Misty,
that.
did you go to chillers or anything the last several years? Have you been to any chillers or Comic-Cons or anything like that?
Oh, I just did a Comic-Con right before the pandemic hit.
Oh.
I was in Oklahoma and I did a Comic-Con there. And I've been meeting a lot of cartoonists. I met Muriel Farron, who created Strawberry Shortcake.
Aww.
And I also have met Guy Gilchrist, and he designed all the Muppet puppets and cartoons, and he still draws those. So, and I did Chiller. Chiller was probably the biggest autograph show I've ever done. And I did that with the Honeys, Barbie Benton and Ganilla Hutton. And we drew quite a crowd.
Wait, Barbie Benton, oh my God, there's another crazy situation story there. But your story is so fascinating because of all the stuff that you did. What was it like to work with Happy Days? Hold on, Jim.
I loved Happy Days, and I did that for a whole year. And I made friends with Don Most and Henry Winkler and Ron Howard. One of the first times he ever directed, he directed me on Happy Days. I was Wendy the Car Hop.
Right.
So it was so cool that I had a character. And now, after 35 years later, Donnie Most has a big band, and he's got a great singing voice.
Yep. And
he invited me to come on stage and do a duet with him. And I said, well, Donnie, I'm a comedian, so I sing funny songs. He said, well, let's do it. And we did Making Whoopee. And it was really a lot of fun. And we were actually going to go on tour together. And then the pandemic hit. And I'm home like everybody else. And I do a show called Always Patsy Cline, which I've done in New Jersey, by the way. I did it at the Tropicana years ago. And I've been doing that off and on for 20 years, and I direct that show. So I miss being on stage. I miss performing live and meeting people. And my book has kind of been my salvation because I'm still in touch with people. And it's so cute. People who buy my book, they take a picture of them holding it, and then they put it on Facebook. So then I can actually see who bought my book. And,
so nice.
My fans, after all these years, it's really something special.
It's beautiful.
Wow. Somebody wants to know, Tom, one of our listeners wants to know, how was it working with Mel Brooks?
I love Mel Brooks. And my audition was probably the funniest thing you ever saw. Because I went in there to Paramount and I had to go 9 times to audition for Maid Marian in the Robin Hood show he was doing when things were rotten. And I was the only female regular on the show. So I had all these merry men and Robin Hood and me and Mel Brooks. And my first audition, I walked in and I had a cape on and I had a long dress and I had flowers in my hair because I wanted to look like Maid Marian. And he just got up from the table of all these producers and writers and said, Maid Marian. And he walked over and he started to dance with me. And he said, do you dip? And I said, but of course. And he dipped me and it came back up and he said, come back tomorrow at 2:00. And he said, oh, Misty, I said, well, I wasn't going to come naked. So yes, I'm very blessed to have worked with some of the greatest comedians in the world, like Mel Brooks, and then the Happy Days crew, and then Sid Caesar.
Wow.
So comedy is my forte.
We have a question from Sandy. Who was your favorite person to work with on Hee Haw?
Oh, come on now. I love my Hee Haw Honey. I love my Minnie Pearl.
Oh, Minnie
I
was awesome.
love my Roy Clark and my Junior Samples. So, and look at all the greats I worked with. I was just so blessed. Archie Campbell, and we'd have guest star after guest star. We even had Grandpa Walton. We had Will Gare on.
Well, Will Gare, awesome.
We had Johnny Cash on. We had Kenny Rogers on. We just had everybody on.
Loretta Lynn was on there with you a couple times.
Oh, well, Loretta Lynn came on every year.
Yep.
And we'd do jokes in the cornfield, and she was kind of nearsighted, and so was I. And they have all the jokes on cue cards, and we'd mess them up, and then we'd have to spend the day redoing them all.
Wow.
But if you look inside the book, you'll see pictures of all the people we're talking about.
So many great pictures in that book. I love the pictures in that book. I mean, just to go through the book and look at those pictures, you can spend half the day just, figuring out who these people are and all the celebrities that you've met. Wow.
It's one of my favorite celebrities I ever met was Elton John.
Yes, I saw that.
I met him in London when I was there for the opening of Goodbye Norma Jean. I was the first person to ever play Marilyn Monroe in a film. So there was a lot of publicity about it. And they sent me to London, and I got to go to the Tin Pan Alley Ball, which is the big musicians' ball.
Right.
And a tall, dark-haired man came across the room, and he was very elegant. He said, "Excuse me, but Elton would like to meet you."
Wow.
And I said, "Okay." And I followed him back to Elton's table, and Elton got up, and I had a rose with me, and I handed Elton the rose, and all these flash bulbs went off, and we were on the front pages of all the English papers the next day.
Oh, wow.
And then he was very nice, too. He sent his white Rolls Royce for me while I was there to take me around. And I went to see a chorus line with Elton John's parents.
How cool is that? You got to wear Marilyn Monroe's dress from the 7-Year Itch, right? From Madame Tussauds. I think you got to eat it.
It was at Madame Tussauds, and I was there modeling some clothing for a department store because I was the Marilyn girl. And right before the end of the shoot, the manager of Madame Tussauds said, "Misty, we have Marilyn's dress here from the 7-Year Itch. Would you like to put it on and pose with it?" I said, "Oh, I'd love to." So they went and got the dress off the Marilyn mannequin, and they put it on me. And I mean, they had a blowing machine, and they took pictures. But that was the night that Elton's parents were coming to take him to see a chorus line. And because I had modeled this dress, it ran late. And I said, "Oh, I'm sorry, I have to go." And I just ran out of Madame Tussauds in the dress.
Oh, no.
And Elton's white Rolls Royce was there, and his parents were there. And I jumped in, and we went to see a chorus line. And then we went out to dinner after. And then they took me back to my hotel. And when I got to the hotel, I think it was called Claridge's, I got out of the hotel, and there were these 2 security guards from Lloyd's of London. And they said, "Miss Rowe, you left with Marilyn's dress. we want it back. And do you know that dress? It was auctioned off a little later on for over $5 million.
Oh. Wow. Expensive dress.
I can see why they wanted it back.
Tell us something about Marilyn Monroe that most people don't know, because you played Marilyn Monroe and you know everything about Marilyn. So what do most people, tell us a story that most people don't really hear about Marilyn Monroe.
Well, she didn't have much money. And, she really didn't know her father. And a lot of people know that. Her mother was in some kind of institution a lot. So really? Marilyn had to make it on her own. And she lived at this place called the Hollywood Studio Club, which was just for girls between 17 and 25. It was started by Mrs. Selznick, David O. Selznick's wife, for girls who wanted to be actresses and dancers. And what most people don't know is she lived there for a while. And they give you breakfast and they give you dinner and they don't allow any men in there. So when I first went to Hollywood, that's where I lived. The room was 2 doors down from Marilyn's old room.
Wow.
Still there, Misty?
I'm here.
Okay. Didn't hear anything. So go back to Happy Days. Was there a favorite episode that you had with Happy Days?
I liked when Potsy kissed me, and I took 2 hot fudge sundaes and dumped them on him.
I remember that one. Remember, Jimmy?
I do. That was a great one. That was a great one.
Use that in the title shots, the opening credits.
Yes.
And they have different shots of Happy Days. In the year I was on, they used that shot of me dumping ice cream on Potsy. And every time that got shown, I got paid. So that is my favorite.
Amazing.
Oh, yeah, that's my favorite.
What about the Fonz? Tell us about working with Henry Winkler. And he was really smitten with you, wasn't he?
I liked Henry. And when I came on, I think it was the second year I came on Happy Days. I started working in April of 1974 on Happy Days. And he was a big star already. And I was kind of shy around him. Oh, my gosh. We are getting some thunder here. You did mention storms coming in, didn't you? And one thing he did, I was also doing Hee Haw. And I did several shows for Happy Days. And then while they were on hiatus, I went to Nashville and I filmed Hee Haw. And Henry sent me a poem. And he wrote it on the back of a Happy Days script. He took a page out of his script and wrote a poem for me. And I put it in the book.
The poem's in the book. Oh, cool. That's so cool.
The poem is in the book in his own handwriting.
So awesome.
Does he know you put him in the book? Did you tell him?
No, I have no way to get in touch with Henry. I can get in touch with Donnie.
Yeah, but somebody should tell him. At least tell him, right?
Yeah.
Well, it was very nice of him to write the poem. Oh, but I did see Henry after that. I did see him, must have been about 10 years ago. We had both studied with Stella Adler. And there's a Stella Adler Theater on Hollywood Boulevard, and they had a huge gala, and I went to it, and Henry was there. And he came with his son, his very handsome son, and I came with my husband, Barry. And they said, "Oh, Henry Winkler is here. Weren't you on Happy Days?" I said, "I was." And they said, "Well, we'll take you over to see Henry." And I said, "Well, I don't know if he'll remember me. It's been so long." And we walked, and he saw me and he went, Misty, and he took my hand, put it on his heart, and then he looked at my husband and he said, I have to tell you, Barry, I had such a crush on this lady. Well, who knew? He never told me.
A little bit. Jimmy, you still there?
Hello?
I'm still here, Misty. I'm seeing if Jimmy's still there. Jimmy, you still there? All right, Misty, having some unsafety issues. Let me know, please. And
we're having thunder and lightning.
Oh boy. Jimmy just got disconnected. I apologize, Misty. Of course, that I'll take over for a little bit, and when Jimmy comes back, we'll continue. God, the Happy Days and Hee Haw, and we're talking a little bit about the movies now. I didn't know we did see you in them, but we did. You have that type
That's quite possible. I've done a lot of characters, and they all have very, very strange names. Like, was in Meatballs 2,
Mm-hmm.
and my name was Miss Fanny Bentwood. And then I was in
movie that was with Personal Meatballs.
No, Bill Murray was another one. John Larroquette and Pee Wee Herman were in Meatballs 2.
I didn't see that one.
Hey, Doc, can you hear me? I'm back.
Not.
So they play it all the time. Come summer, it's a comedy channel all the time. And that was that the kids' camp. I did another one with Bill Murray. I think it was called Lucia. And I did, my favorite movie I did was the Mid-Century Fox, released that.
Oh, sure.
And Libby, I have seen of older stud ringer for Bogart. You've never seen a person.
Wow, that's amazing. Like I said, I didn't know you did all these other cameo roles and things like that. You've had an amazing kind of career.
No, that was not a cameo role. I had a lead in the Bogart space, and I was the lead in The Hitchhikers, and I was the lead in Goodbye Norma Jean, and I guess I wasn't the lead in Meatballs 2, but I had a huge part because I was the girls' camp counselor.
You were also in Love Boat, too, with Bernie Capel, I see.
Oh, yeah, Bernie and I had worked together for Mel Brooks. He had played Alan Adele. He was the one into marrying him. And then he became Doc on the Love Boat. And I did 2 Love Boats, and each time I was Bernie's love interest.
Oh, okay. Hey, Jimmy's back.
Hey, how you doing? Misty, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
I'm back. I was gone. I took a little break. I'm back. I wanted to ask you about Bernie Capel. Wasn't he very smitten with you when he first got to meet you?
We just talked about Bernie Capel, didn't we?
But yeah, I mean,
and yes, we did Love Boat. One time I did a 2-hour Love Boat. It was like a country music cruise, and it had a lot of country stars like Tanya Tucker and Dottie West, and it had Minnie Pearl on it, and I played Minnie Pearl's niece. Okay. And of course, Bernie was my love interest on that one. And the other one I did, Love Boat I did it with Vicki Lawrence, with my sister on it, and Joe Namath was on it. Do you know Joe Namath?
Of course.
No. We do.
Joe Namath was my little Abner. In the national tour of Little Abner, I was his Daisy May.
Oh, so cool.
Misty, tell us
where Hee Haw got you?
No, I had been on Hee Haw for about 8 years.
Before that, okay.
When I got Little Abner, when I got to part of Daisy May on Little Abner.
Okay.
Misty, tell us about Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous. Do you remember doing that show with Robin Leach?
Oh, that was so cool. I actually did Runaway with the Rich and Famous, which I think is better than Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous, because Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous, you have to have your house cleaned. And they come over and they film at your house. But Runaway with the Rich and Famous, they send you somewhere. And they sent me to Quebec. And I stayed in this castle. And I had a butler who wore white gloves. And, the Queen's Guard came out and they marched for me. And I got to drive a yacht, which I had never done, on the St. Lawrence, to a little island that had a mill where we had lunch. And that was with my first husband, James Paiva. He had been a soap opera star.
Right.
When I met him, he was a waiter, but then he became a soap opera star on One Life to Live. Mm-hmm. He was on that for about 16 years.
Yeah, I used to work for Robin Leach. I was an assistant at the television show Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous. So I remember when you were on there with Runaway with the Rich and Famous.
Oh, I just adored him. He was such a fun man. I had actually met him in France when I went to the Cannes Film Festival with Goodbye Norma Jean. They took me to Monte Carlo to see the casino, and that's where Robin was, and we were introduced. And he was such a nice man, and he was funny. He was elegant and funny and had a dry wit. And then he showed up on Hee Haw. Years later, he showed up on and he said, Misty, I'm going to send you and your husband on a trip. And I said, oh, I'd love that. And it was like, you want to go to Nosha? Or you want to go to Quebec? And I said, well, what's in Nova? He said,
Runaway with the Rich and Famous. There were 3 TV shows. There was Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous. There was Runaway with the Rich and Famous, and Fame, Fortune, and Romance. All great television shows. And Misty, I guess, did Runaway with the Rich and Famous, which was one of Robin's great shows. And hopefully Doc will come back here.
And then they leave you and they give you 2 days free. And they pay for everything you want to do. If you want to go out to dinner, if you want to have a massage, if you want to go around in a cute little car, they do all that for you. So, it's just I've had these pockets of magic in my life.
That's so awesome.
Glad I look back on.
That's great. You also worked with John Travolta, right?
Yes, I did. He saved me. We did a telethon together in Grand Island, Nebraska, which you will have to read the book to find out about that.
Okay. We're going to have to get you a book for that. You starred in over 200 television shows. Let's see, 10,000s of stage performances. What did you enjoy the most? Was it the television commercials? Was it the TV shows or the films? What did you enjoy doing the most?
I enjoyed them all because I'm an actress. And then, I had a huge TV career for about 20 years. And after that, I had a baby. And then I had a divorce. And then I had to start my life over on a different coast. And I got into stage quite heavily. And then I became a stage director.
Oh, okay. Do you still keep in touch with Bobby Benton?
Yes, I do. Barbie and I wrote a show called Hee Haw Honey Reunion. And I called her and I said, hey, Barb, I'm putting this show together on stage with a band and I have a cornfield. And how much would you want to be in the show? And she said, Misty, you can't afford me, but I'll do it anyway. And we just had the best time. We really, really did.
Oh, that's so awesome.
That's and Barbie and I did Chiller together.
Oh, you did?
So,
awesome.
Yeah. Oh, she was
Wow.
a big hit. And she was selling nudes, and I was not.
Well, speaking of that, she introduced you to Hugh Hefner, and you did Playboy. What were those Playboy parties at the mansion like? Tell me about that.
Well, I'd go up there on a Friday and a Sunday, and they had a buffet dinner, and then they showed a movie, a movie that had just come out.
Mm-hmm.
And I liked it because I felt very safe up there. I mean, they had people who'd park your car, they had security guards, and I never dated Hef. I was never with Hef. In like the 20 years that I knew Hef, I probably said 10 sentences to him the whole time. And yet he'd do the most amazing things for me. And he was kind and generous. And he was Barbie's boyfriend. They went together for 9 years.
Yeah, I knew that.
And after they broke up, he still invited me to the mansion, so I still went to watch movies.
Wow, that's so awesome. What kind of guy was Hugh Hefner?
Was Hef?
Yeah.
I really don't know, because I didn't talk to him much. I mean, he'd have his secretary call me and invite me to movies, and he wanted me to be in Playboy big time.
Right.
And when I got married, he sent me a beautiful gift. And when I turned 50, he drew me a card of a rabbit smoking a pipe and wishing me happy birthday.
Wow.
So he was always kind to me. But I never dated Hef. He was Barbie's boyfriend.
Oh, okay.
But he had quite a lifestyle. He did. And some of it was probably, too much for me.
Yeah.
I was looking for love, and that was the wrong place.
And those Playboy spreads, they weren't as romantic as they look, right?
Well, Barbie had been in love with him, and that's like the first man she was ever with. And they, she lived at the Playboy mansion when I met her on Hee Haw. Right. But she was alone a lot because Hef would live in the Playboy Mansion West for 2 weeks a month, and then he'd go to the Playboy Mansion East 2 weeks a month because he ran a magazine. And Barbie would stay in the West, and she'd be all alone in that big mansion, and she'd call me up and say, "Misty, come on over and we'll tap dance in the Great Hall." We'd do that, and she'd have the cook make chocolate chip cookies, and
wow.
Barbie was like a little girl.
Wow. What about Linda Thompson? Did you work with Linda Thompson on Hee Haw?
Of course I did. I knew Linda a long time, and Linda and I, and Marianne, I'd say Marianne Rogers was my best friend on Hee Haw. We all did a Lifetime Achievement Award luncheon for Roy Clark.
Right.
And then we also, TV Land gave us the Entertainers Award.
Right.
And Roy Clark and Linda Thompson and Barbie Benton and Marianne Rogers and the Hager twins and me. We went and we got this huge award, and Willie Nelson sang to us.
So cool.
And it was just amazing. So I would see the Hee Haw people from time to time.
Wow. Now, she dated Elvis Presley. Did you ever get to meet Elvis?
No, I did not. She had quit dating him when she came on Hee Haw, and then he died soon after.
Oh, wow.
And then she married Bruce Jenner, and I did meet him. And then she married David Foster.
Right. And what about Terry Bradshaw? He was in love with you, right? Didn't he want to marry you?
Well, I don't think he was in love with me. He asked if I wanted to marry him.
Okay.
And you'll have to read the book to find out how that turned
out. What else you got, Doc, for Misty?
A lot of the stuff she's saying is in the book, so we got to buy the book, guys. It's mistyrowe.com. Check it out. But Misty, again, your career has been unbelievable. So with Hee Haw, I got to go back to Hee Haw because that was Happy Days and Hee Haw are the two main things.
Right.
But Hee Haw, everybody that got along with everybody there. Was there a certain special person that you liked other than just the, stars, other than, Kathy or anybody else that was there?
I was very close to Minnie Pearl. Her real name's Sarah Gannon.
Mm-hmm.
I was close to her. I've been close to Barbie until she left Hee Haw, and then Marianne Rogers. She met Kenny Rogers on the Hee Haw set.
Oh, I thought so.
And yeah, her real name is Marianne Gordon. And she met Kenny, we'd been on about 2 years when Kenny came on to sing a song. And his career, he had left First Edition and he was starting over, and he was like singing in lounges when he met Marianne. And then he just had such a climb. And they were really good friends of mine. And his photography, Kenny Rogers liked to take photographs. So Marianne would call me up and she'd say, Misty, come over to the house. Kenny's made the garage into a photography studio. You can model for him today. So I'd go over there and he'd take these fabulous pictures of my face. And he even took the picture of me in my wedding gown and he gave them to me. And they're just beautiful. And they're in the book.
So many great pictures in the book, really.
Yes, I don't think I've ever been prettier than when Kenny Rogers took pictures of me.
Oh, wow.
What was it like to almost become a Charlie's Angel? You became very close to becoming a Charlie's Angel.
Now, I'm not giving that story away. That's really one of my best ones, and it's in the book. Misty Memories. You guys have to sit down and read Misty Memories. And you see all the pictures that go with it and all the stars I met and worked with.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we're looking forward to getting the book. I want everybody to go out and get a copy of this book right here. It's Misty Memories, Misty Rowe, the autobiography. I'm holding it up right now. Go to her website. Give us that website again. Where it's mistyrowe.com and
mistyrowe.com.
Okay.
And I also have my own website, mistyrowe.com. If you can't remember mistyrobook.com, you can remember mistyrowe.com.
And you can get an autograph and everything.
There's everything about the book on both. And if you get the Zoom signing, that's like a party. I mean, I get to meet people who not only bought my book, but who used to watch Hee Haw or Happy Days or saw the Marilyn film. Mm-hmm. And it's amazing that we're all still around and joyful and, we're able to visit on Zoom.
So great, really. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show. Doc, you got any parting shots from Misty Rowe?
I appreciate her time. I know, like she keeps saying, it's in the book. I appreciate her time and talking to us and enjoying every little bit she's done. No, I
absolutely
don't have any more questions.
Pick up the book and you can learn everything about Misty.
And stay safe and watch out for that bad weather up there.
Yeah, you too.
Absolutely.
You stay safe too, as Misty as well.
Misty, thank you so much. Happy Valentine's Day.
Thank you so much. Happy Valentine's Day. Yeah. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, Misty.
Wow. Good interview, Jimmy. Very good interview. Yeah.
I mean,
like she says, it's in the book. It's in the book. Just buy the book. Yeah,
buy the book. All those great stories are right here. Misty Memories, that she'll sign it for you, and you can do that video with her, and so cool. Absolutely. So go out and get it. Coming up on Celebrity Spotlight, we've got Monday is Randy Mantooth, the firefighter and paramedic, of course, the star of Emergency, is going to be here. Going to celebrate 49 years of Emergency, which I'm looking really forward to that. It's going to be a great show. Also, the rock guitarist Godfrey Townsend. He played with so many people, right, Doc? Tell us about Godfrey.
Great guy. Alan Parsons Project for maybe 10, 15 years, 20 years, something like that. Mm-hmm. Many local and rock bands going out on tour, like oldies bands, like Grassroots, backing bands for different bands. Played with the John and Twistle band from The Who. I mean, so many different people.
Yeah, so he's going to be on the show. And then also another one of your friends, Doc, Johnny Patillo, right? Tell us about him. He was with the Duprees.
Johnny Patillo is with the Duprees, and he had his own show, and he's done amazing stuff, and he's just another iconic performer that we're going to be presenting here.
Yeah.
I mean, we've got a lot more coming up. There's a lot more.
There's like you said, you're booked
up to March, April.
We're booked until pretty much into April, and we have Hal Linden, Barney Miller. A lot of people are excited about Barney Miller. I know my friend Lisa from Brooklyn here. She's excited about that. A lot of people all excited about Barney Miller. A lot of people watch that show, which is amazing. To this day, it's on in reruns.
I used to love Barney Miller. Yeah, I love this show. Absolutely.
Anson Williams is going to be here too. Also, Patsy from Happy Days is going to be on the show. Also, Alison Ongrim, who was Nellie from Little House on the Prairie. I spoke to her today, in fact. And what a great lady, man. And she's going to be on the show as well. So we got some really good people coming on.
Amazing. As always, Jimmy, you're doing a wonderful job. Listen, technology, it works for you and it works against you.
I know.
And tonight's show was put together by plastic cans and tape.
I know, but we got through it. I took a little break in the middle there, but that's fine.
Well, you know, again, it's Wi-Fi signals. It's signals that come through. It's the weather.
Has to do with the weather.
He's got weather issues, you know, so we never know.
I just want to say hello too to my friend Marty was out there. Hey, Marty from Brooklyn, thank you so much for listening. I'll probably check you out tomorrow. Who else? Cindy, who's getting well and hope you're feeling better in Lake Ronkonkoma. And I hope you had a great Valentine's weekend. I know she had some chocolate strawberries. Also, Flora in Brooklyn, always there for us, checking us out. Thank you so much, Flora. So many great people. Joanne in Canarsie, my mom in Canarsie also always listens. So many great people here every single week, which I do appreciate. So just continue to hang with us for more great celebrities on the way. And
I'm losing your signal again, Jimmy. I have to end it. Just want to let everybody know.
We're still on, and Doc is frozen right now, or am I frozen, or one of us? I think it's the weather that's messing us up, presenter.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
But Doc, what do you got? Any parting shots before we roll?
I was just going to say, if anybody likes the show and they want more of the same what we're doing, we got that. Don't forget, the beginning of the month, we have that Zoom meeting. We're going to meet a lot of other people too. So a lot of them may become potential people on your show. But I want to tell everybody, go to paypal.com and just donate admin at hamiltonradio.net. And what I'll do is, if you put Jimmy Deal Show, I'll split it with Jimmy. Split the money with Jimmy, whatever it is, $5, $10, whatever you can afford. But it helps the show. It helps us maybe buy new computers.
Absolutely.
Because we need new equipment. We need new equipment.
Absolutely. So anything would help.
I'll just say this. Say this one thing, Jimmy. Every time Windows updates something, the computer always stops working. And it always happens. I don't care what it is. So, with that said, not trying to cut anybody as far as the computer, but I'm just saying that that's what always happens. So, thank you all for listening. Jimmy, a great show. Again, thank you for being here. And we made it work.
I want to thank
you. We used the phone
again tonight. I really appreciate it. Also, we're looking for sponsors for the show. If you want to be a sponsor for the show, please let us know. We can definitely use sponsors and to keep the show going and getting more celebrities. And we really would appreciate that. You could contact me or Doc and let us know. And we'd be very grateful for that. Any parting shots, Doc?
Pretty much it, Jimmy.
All right, everybody. We'll check you out next Monday with Randy Mantooth from Emergency. We'll celebrate 49 years of Emergency, and that's going to be a fantastic show. And we hope to see you there. And also, Tom, thank you so much, Tom. Thank you so much for the questions.
Thank you, Tom, for being here. Thank you for being our person that always watches us. So we appreciate that.
And the great questions every week. He's awesome.
Yeah, we love that.
And Biagio too. Thank you, Biagio. He's always
Biagio as well. Yeah, absolutely.
All right, everybody. Have a great week.
All right, bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.